Hello, everyone. It's good to see everyone. Kiki, is that you? I believe it is. I can't read your name.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was you. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Saeed. Nice to see you again. Zinru, Yahya, Vin. Okay, let me go ahead and first I'm going to apologize for being so late today. And I'll go ahead and read off this first topic. It's you have been told that dormitory rooms at your university must be shared by 2 students. Would you rather have the university assign a student to share a room with you, or would you rather choose your own roommate? Use specific reasons and details to explain your answer. So, Zinru, I see you are first, Kiki's next, Yahya, you're third, and then that makes you fourth. So, Zinru, you go right ahead.
Thank you. Mm, well, in two students' room, I think I just let the university to choose for me, and then uh, everyone be with me will be okay, and I'm a nice person, and I think I live with anybody uh, will be good, and um, I haven't any bad habit except smoking, and when I stay with someone in a room, I never smoking in the room. I always smoke outside, so uh, there is no problem, and maybe I love cleaning something, especially kitchen, toilet, but not my room. So my room is messy. Um, um, I think someone share room with me that will be better, and I have chance to communicate with him or her. Well, uh, male or female are both okay, so it's not a big deal for the gender. And um, I do not uh, want to choose my roommate because when I uh, go to a new place, I I don't know that uh, environment, and I don't know that person either. So uh, everyone will be okay. Uh, when someone live with you for a long time, and then you can understand him or her, and maybe you will uh, influence for each other, like bad habits, but not uh, good habits, but not bad habits. Um, and our behavior will be affect each other, and that will be for some good way. Um, and as my age, um, uh, well, um, not so young, so I can um, do more things to him or her, and also can um, I can also teach him or her something. Well, so that's all. That's okay. Yeah. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Zinru. Okay, I'm getting a really bad echo, so I'm going to have you turn your mic off while I talk. But of course, turn it back on if you've got a question or a comment. Um, as usual, I enjoy the personal take that you have on these. And this time I'm going to say, because your speech has improved so much, and you know what you have, that you're working on as far as pronunciation and things like that, I was able to listen more to the content, how you laid it out, and really be able to enjoy what you're saying here. Hello, Subham. And Zinu, you mentioned a couple of topics, and then you moved on to support each of them, and then of course concluded. So that was all nicely done. I found it interesting and very. You must have a nice personality to be around, very humble, because the first thing you did was talk about the fact that you would be a good roommate, which means that you're working on that, um, to be a good roommate yourself rather than just looking at what they can offer you. So that was very nice. And you also talked about, even with your what you called a bad habit, the smoking. You also mentioned you don't do that in the room when there's someone else that has to breathe the same air, and so you're a very considerate person. So that was nice, and I think the fact that you love cleaning those areas um, will endear you quickly to a lot of people. The kitchen, the bathroom, things like that. So that's kind of actually surprising for me. Not that you are, but that someone would mention that. And I think given the choice, most people would prefer someone that keeps those areas clean rather than his room anyway. I'm going to mention, as you moved along, yeah, I understand. Thank you. That's a good way of thinking. So I want to mention, you talked about a new place, a new environment, and I've noticed in all of the things that you comment on when you do these, you're a people person. You always like meeting new people, getting to talk to new people, and that's just awesome. Um, and of course, that's what I enjoy here about Speak Alley, is I get to meet so many new people. So the one thing I did want to mention, because of the way, I know that you didn't mean it the way it sounds to an American ear, when you said you were talking about your age and what you had to offer because of that, which is awesome. But you said, for your roommate, that way you can do more things to him or her. Use the word for him or her. Um, Here, if we mention doing things to somebody, it can be a very negative connotation. So other than that, watching that issue, that was very enjoyable, and thank you very much for all of that. Okay, Kiki, you are next. Oh, excuse
Okay.
me. I apologize, Kiki. I forgot. Subham, let me put these back up. These are the two topics that we're working on. And I always forget that when someone joins, they can't see anything in the chat box that was posted before. So I apologize, Kiki. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm here. Um, um, if from where I'm stand, uh, I will believe the idea that I will choose my own roommate. Because I'm the freshman, and I have finished the first year in the university just now. And after I stayed with my roommates, I felt I felt it is significant to choose one who really suitable for you. For example, um, when I came into the dormitory, I was surprised to see four girls in my dorm when I first came. When I when the new term was begin. When the new term began. However, um, some problems some problem happened. For example, my one of my dorm dorm mates didn't clean the room and often um, dates with her boyfriends and back to the dormitory midnight, and she often annoy us. And second, someone play computer games the whole days, and we couldn't study quietly in the dormitory. And and because of this, I believe someone, if I would choose someone to be my roommate, I will want uh the the guy who uh have the common will with me. Um, However, when talk about bad habits, I have some. When I was when I under the under the pressure, I often lose my temper, and my classmates, some of them, uh, regarded me as the bad temper one. So who want to share the room with me should should stand with my bad temper. So it is if someone should want to have a good time with me, she need to know very well of me. So um I will approve of the idea that I should choose my own roommate. That's all.
Thank you. Once again, Kiki, you've got very nice pace to your
Mhm.
speaking, so I have
Mhm.
to really concentrate to come up with some advice to improve. But I want to mention just a couple of things. We, let me ask you. You said something about somebody have come and I think you said live with me.
Mhm.
And which is this, and I really struggled with what you were saying, um, and it was because of that word, the word live. It was coming out sounding like this word, and
Really.
as yeah, let me explain why. I think it was doing that. The V sound, which is putting the bottom lip under the top teeth, um, almost like an F sound, but not quite as strong. Uh, is Gets a little lost when you're speaking, and also the L sound, because I noticed in the word will and well,
Mhm.
because those are simple one-syllable words, and the context it was easy to understand. But after having trouble with the word live, I was listening more intently on those L's, and I think that's where some of the problem is. So if you can remember that the word L, is going to be the tongue right behind the top teeth. Practice that sound because I know it's not a common one to get pronounced from people in your area. Um, and then also the V sound, which is again the bottom lip under the top teeth. Live. If you can
Live.
Go ahead.
Live. Okay. Okay. I
Yes,
know.
yes, yes. There you
Mhm.
go. Okay, yeah, if you can practice that. And then I also noticed one other combination sound that I'm going to mention that will help your pronunciation is TH. And that's the tongue between the top and bottom teeth and kind of blowing on them. So if you can practice those, that's going to really help. And I know that there's a lot of words that have TH and L and V's in them, and it's just a common one that gets lost. The common consonants that get lost, and it's not just you. So don't worry about that, but that's going to help quite a bit when you keep working on pronouncing all of the consonants. That was very nice, and again, the honesty was quite interesting. But you know where your shortcoming is. It's when you're under pressure, and I think that's easy for all of us to feel that pressure and react to it. So that was kind of awesome that you had enough introspection to do that. So that was great. I'm going to go ahead and move on, and thank you, Kiki, for your input there. Yaya, you are next.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hmm.
Yeah, just
I,
bring that mic up. Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
um, I prefer to choose my own roommate because of two reasons. Number one, it makes hostel life much smoother, and number two, it will accelerate individual study or group study. So let me illustrate those 2 points. The first one, if I choose my own roommate, then it will be easy for me to acclimatize with uh, with acclimatize acclimatize with him easily, because it will there is a there is a because I uh, there is a there is a competitive I feel number one, I feel comfortable with him, and number two, uh, uh, our mindset uh, will be the same. These two will make us to decide what to do with our regular life. And if we have different mindsets, what will happen? It will create a mayhem um, in that room, and it is not expected. And the uh, actually the hostel life depends on how you interact with your roommate. So that's why I choose my own roommate to make my hostel life smoother. Okay, number two, the study. Different people study in different way. Some people just study before the exam. Some study regularly. So and so I will choose one of them who study regularly and have the and uh, has the morality as well, because when you do group study, you need to uh, you need to have the harmony. If you don't have the harmony, you cannot study. So eventually uh, uh, it will result in a bad result. It will result in a bad uh, relationship. So and study is one of the most important factor when you are in university. So uh, that's why while I have a, a room roommate who is uh, uh, similar to me in terms of morality, in terms of morality, mentality, that will help me to have a smoother university life as well as a hostel life, and it will help me to uh, have a good result. Thank you.
Thank you. You're doing a very nice job of narrowing this down and sticking with the topic. And not having too many points for the topic. So that's really good. You've got two. You stated those. You supported them with personal information on what on your reasons, and this was actually nice. And it was also nice. It was easy to see your focus is on study. You didn't just mention it at the end. You can see throughout your speaking that your focus is on study, which is, I'm not sure how we got another person in, but hello. If you can go ahead and turn your mic on mute, then it'll make it easier for everyone to hear.
Yes, hello everyone.
Yeah, hi. Can you put your mic on mute, please? So we don't have background noise?
Yeah, can you hear me clearly?
I can, but I need your mic on mute, okay?
Okay, yes.
Oh, thank you. Okay, it just cuts down on the background noise and so everybody can hear clearly. Okay, so I like the term that you used here, that when you have a study group, you need to have harmony in that study group to be able to study and concentrate on what you're doing. You had quite a bit, actually, that I liked. I'm going to mention one thing here. I think you were using the word morality. Is that correct? Having similar moralities?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Here, that might not make a whole lot of sense to a lot of people, and we've talked enough, you probably understand what I'm saying, but here the morality is viewed probably a little bit different, and they wouldn't consider, not everyone would consider that that's going to be an impact for the study group. I know what you're talking about, and if you were trying to explain this to someone here, although the morality is definitely an issue, and you would get, if you were trying to explain that to someone here, you might have to qualify that a little bit more for them to understand exactly what you're talking about. But another thing you could use would be the word lifestyle, to have a similar lifestyle so that it doesn't create friction and other problems in the dorm room or hostel or wherever. But I understand what you're talking about on that. Then the only other, yeah, yes, lifestyle, because that would make sense to anybody, I think. So the only other thing I was going to say is,
Okay.
Vin, hold on a minute, Vin. Turn your mic on mute. I'm almost done. Give
My
me just
turn.
almost. Can you turn the mic on mute? Give me just a minute.
Okay.
Hold on. Yeah, you're doing a great job slowing down and relaxing, and keep it up. It'll really cut down on the hesitation and the stumbling that goes on. And I actually had, I wanted to mention that issue earlier when you mentioned that you want to trying to remember the word that was used. Basically, get used to each other or be able to get used to each other. You stumbled a little bit with the rest of what you were saying, and you dropped it immediately and went on to the points, which came out very nicely. So that was good. You couldn't quite get that, so you just moved on. And so I wanted to commend you on that. That was good. Okay, Van, go right ahead, and we'll get you going.
Okay. uh, okay, my turn.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. For me, if I had to share a room with another student, I would prefer to choose my own roommate. Choosing the roommate can be helpful for my study, broaden my eyesight, and cultivate my interest. I would choose my roommate who has a living habit like me. I always stay up for my study, and If the university assigns me a roommate who likes early sleeping, there will be conflict, and it will negatively affect my study. If my roommate has similar habits, we can both study until deep night without considering the time, and more, I will not feel alone in deep night. I we can uh, study together and talk about our study if one of us don't worry at that time. Mm, and I would choose a roommate who has a diverse family background from me. We can exchange our local culture and customs, and I can learn his local language. Mm, and when we become good friends, we can go to each other home and to enrich our experience. If the university assign me my roommate, I will have to wait for the luck. And mm, I I would choose a roommate who will have a similar hobby with me. Uh, I like play football and college um, and take a picture. And I hope my roommate will have the same my hobby with me, and so that uh, we can share our experience. And I know that it is difficult to find a person with the same my favorite. However, mhm, it is enough as long as he has one or two similar hobby. And finally, I will spend one third of my time in a dormitory in my university. I will choose choose my own roommate if the university permits. Yeah, that's my opinion. That's all.
Ben, that was great, and I want to once again commend you about how much you're improving in speaking. First of all, your confidence has definitely improved, and you're giving entire speeches here, whereas I remember before when you first started, you had more trouble doing this. Also, your pronunciation has definitely improved. You're getting more and more understandable, and so I wanted to commend you on all of that. That's just great. Um, so I can see a lot of hard work going into this, and I do see you on the practice page there on Speak Alley sometimes, so I know you're practicing and working on improving, so that was great. I want to mention just a few things. You mentioned, for instance, if they sleep early, that you will be conflict. You can just say, you don't need the word be in there. We will conflict in our schedules, or you can say our schedules would conflict, or we have conflicting schedules. So those are a few ways that you could say that. You want to make sure and talk about what exactly is conflicting, because if you say we will conflict, again, you won't need that word be in there. Unless you say we will be conflicting, then you would use the word be. But when you say it just that way and you don't qualify it, it sounds like the two of you don't get along, that maybe you guys are fighting over something. But because you mentioned if one goes to bed early and the other one doesn't, I'm assuming you're actually talking about your schedulings or your schedule. Your schedules would conflict with each other and make things difficult. So you want to make sure and qualify the word conflict as to what exactly you're talking about. Then you also talked about how nice it would be to have diverse backgrounds, because you could exchange ideas on local customs. The word that you use there, customs, and I know this gets difficult anytime you have to combine consonant sounds. It came out as katam because you missed the S, so you'll want to work on that ST sound. And I know, excuse me, that can get difficult. So that's just something to work on. But to be honest, with the context and everything, I did understand what you were saying. So you just want to work on getting all those consonants in there. You also mentioned something about if they choose, I think you said wait for the luck. Can you clarify that statement? What were you talking about on that? Do you remember? Are you saying that you're just hoping?
Hobby. I mean, I wish to a roommate who will have a similar hobby with me.
Hobby. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
hobby.
I heard that on the next sentence. So when you said wait for the luck, I think that's what you said. Wait for something. Do you remember what you said? Right before the similar hobby.
Mm, favorite.
Okay, that was later. Okay, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal.
Ah,
Um,
I will I will have to wait for the
luck.
lucky luck.
Okay. Okay, and what are you waiting for? What are you hoping is going to be lucky? Is that going to be the how well you get along?
Mm, I wanna wait the person have the same character my character.
Okay. So instead of saying if they choose the roommate for you, waiting for the luck, because that gets a little confusing for us, we would say we would hope for someone with similar characteristics or similar hobbies. Hope for um, a
and
compatible roommate.
they also have working like me.
Okay. So compatible is probably the closest word that you're looking for, and that just means that the two of you have like interests, like personalities, you get along well, so that's a word you can use there. So hope for a compatible roommate. Okay, and then again, later you mentioned that it's difficult to find a person with your favorite, and then you cut off. So again, you want to qualify what you're talking about. You said favorite, say favorite hobby or favorite activity, something like that. Don't just leave it with the word favorite, because favorite describes something. Typically, at least the way that you put it in this sentence, it's describing something, and so you need to say what that something is. And the other thing that I had trouble understanding was spend, I don't know if you said half of my time at the university or spend a third of, I have no idea what that other word was. So you might slow down maybe on the amount of time using that, whatever fraction it was that you were saying. But everything was, as far as the content, it was understandable. Yeah, did you have a comment?
No.
Oh, okay. I saw your mic. I thought it went off. I apologize.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, anyway, that was good. And again, it's just a matter of pronunciation, and you're moving right along. So thank you, Vin. That was nice. It's nice to see the things that you know what you're looking for, and it's nice to see the variety of what's important. Okay. Supam, you were in here next. How about if you go ahead? Absolutely. Thank you. Whenever you're ready, Supam. I see that your mic is on, but I don't see, I'm not hearing anything. Are you speaking? Subham, are you with us? Thanks for jumping in there, guys. Okay, I'm going to assume that there's a technical problem, Subham. You will definitely get to speak if you can get the mic working. So when you're back with us, you might have to log out, log back in. Sometimes that works. I'm not sure what's going on. Go ahead and, okay, now you're on mute. Try it again. Still not getting anything, Subham. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I was looking forward to hearing you speak. So, all right. I'm going to go ahead and move on to this next person, and if you manage to get that working, please say something or write it in the chat box. I know you kind of have to mention something to know if it's working, but I'll come back to you and we'll check again as soon as we're done. I understand, no problem. You keep working on that. This last person here, GIAU, can you turn your mic back on? You were the new person, and tell me how to say your name and where you're from. Yes, I have no idea how to pronounce that, so if somebody can help me there, there you go. Go ahead. How do you say your name?
Hello, Cindy.
Hi.
You can call me Hunza, and I come from Vietnam.
Okay. Tell me
Yes.
that. Tell me that again. That is a very different name for me, so I'm going to have to work on it. How do you pronounce it?
Hunza.
Hunja?
Yes.
Okay. And I apologize if I'm ruining the name, but I will definitely try. So thank you for introducing yourself. Go right ahead and get started.
About the first topic.
The first one, yes.
Yes. If yes, if I had a chance to choose a roommate, would like to choose my own roommate because I think if the university assigns a student to live with me, I think it depends on many things that we could live together, depend on our characteristic and our lifestyle. And if I live with the person I I know before, such as my best friend or something like that, I think we should live together happily because we know each other and we know what the other like or hate, and we can um, um, understand other when someone do the thing that the other hate or don't like, and if the person that the school the university assigned to live with me is someone in because I have some difficulty to hearing the vowel in other places. Such as in my country, there are three areas in the north, the south, and the middle, and I hardly hear the vowel in the middle. The people come from the middle, and sometimes in the university, I miss some vowel in the middle, and I can't hear clearly, and sometimes uh, I feel it's inconvenient when I told the other to speak for one more time, and sometimes they speak for 5 times, but I can't understand what they are saying. Yes, so I think I would rather like to choose a roommate for my own. Yes, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Just give me 1 second here. Okay. Let me ask you something. First of all, I want to mention that you broke up real bad right there in the middle, so I missed some of what you were saying. And when you came back, I think I heard the word inconvenient. Is that correct? Because if I did, the word is actually inconvenient with an I-N instead of a U-N. It's easy to see how that mistake could be made, or it might just be in your pronunciation. But it's a short I sound, so we're going to say I instead of and so it's inconvenient. Absolutely. Okay. This was nice. You've got some good thoughts in here. I want to mention, and don't feel bad, this is very common. It's kind of normal for people from your area. So I'm just going to give you some things to work on for pronunciation. What happens, I found a lot, is especially the end vowels get dropped off when people from your area speak. You're not just Vietnam, but kind of that section of the world there. And then also the middle vowels, or excuse me, the end consonants, I apologize, not vowels, the end consonants. And the middle consonants, especially when they're in combination with each other. So I'm going to go ahead and mention a few words that I heard that you'll can use for practice to help you with this. The word chance, we lost the NCE at the end, so it's chance. And then choose, we lost the S at the end. Another one, and this is common not just for your area, but you hear it in other languages as well. The word think, the TH sound, like I went through before, is the tongue between the top and bottom teeth, and kind of blow on it. That's how we teach the children when they're little what that sound makes. And it comes through when you're speaking as tink. I know that that's going to take some practice. Don't worry about it. I can still understand the word from the context. It's just something to keep in mind. And this is another one that, again, it's a longer one. First of all, I'm going to mention the word characteristics. The CH, it's a K sound, so characteristic instead of characteristic. And I will tell you, being a CH sound, it's easy to see how you came through with that sound, because CH normally would be a ch sound. So characteristic, here's the word, the sounds that I think got lost in there. The C that's next to the T, and the S that's next to the T. And again, those combination sounds, consonants, those combination consonant sounds, I know are very difficult for people from your area. Your languages there are very different from English as far as the sounds that are produced, and so I know this is going to take some work. And to be honest, with the context and everything, I can still understand the word. But the more that you work on these, the more understandable you're going to be. And then when you do have one or two words in a conversation that don't quite come through, it'll be a lot easier for the speaker to process what you're saying, and they won't struggle as much to try to understand. So that's why we work on that. And the last one, again, it's an ending sound on the inconvenient. Let me spell it here. Inconvenient, the T at the end, and of course that's an NT sound, so again it's a combination. So those are where you're going to want to practice. If you can find something to read and take notes like this, or even just go through some vocabulary words, find the words that have these double consonant sounds or have a hard sound at the end. Practice those words. That's going to help you a lot on your communication skills. So this was very nice, and I'm sorry I missed a little bit of what you said in the middle there because of the sound breaking up, but thank you for joining us, and it's nice to see you. Okay, we lost Subham. Apparently he's still having some difficulty, so we'll go ahead and move on to the next topic, which is some people think that governments should spend as much money as possible on developing or buying computer technology. Other people disagree and think that this money should be spent on more basic needs. Which one of these opinions do you agree with? Use specific reasons and details to support your answer. All right. Zinru, I see you've jumped in again, so go right ahead and give us your perspective. Don't forget, everyone, if you can put your name. No, thank you, Zinru. I'm doing good. If you're ready, then we'll just move right along. Thank you for asking, though.
Thank you, Cindy. I think that the government should be spent on more basic needs, and it depends on some situations. As a developed city, and the government should be pay more money to the developing of the buying computer technology or the other things. It can be more convenient for the people or the citizens. And if a developing country or developing city, and I think that the basic needs is more important, and more need that things like the Medicare, education, and houses. Like my country, the government in China, the government is very rich, very rich, and they could it could buy some luxury things and build some more foundation project like the high-speed roads, the high-speed railways, and send some spaceship to the moon or the other thing. But in fact, I think that it should pay more attention, pay more concentration to the basic things, some education and Medicare or the like the basket things, especially in education. It's fewer teacher in a school, not that much than before. And I remember that when I went to the school to be a teacher, and we had about 1,000 students, and we had 62 teachers, and in 60 five of these 62 teachers, 5 of them were doing nothing but manage things, and in this year, we have about 800 students, and we just had we had just 42 teachers. We decreased 200 students and we reduced to 20 teachers. And this is the basic things. And then one teacher, a teacher will be faced to more than 45 students, and their jobs are insignificantly increased. So in the to be honest, the government can afford this price and afford these uh, things to pay more money to the teacher and hire more than uh, 10, 10 teachers or 20 teachers to a school for a school. And and I think this is called the basic things. And like the Medicare, uh, the government didn't do not pay the money to the medicine market, and some important medicine just vanish, and like some heart disease medicine, and they are very cheap, and for the medicine company, uh, they are non-profit. So if if the government can pay more money to the company to produce this medicine, and to the people, it's a good thing. But for the to the government and to the company, it's not a good thing. So uh, in my opinion, that is the it uh, depends on which needs for the uh, citizens, and and for the what kinds of the countries. Developing country and developed country is totally different. Are totally different. So this is my point. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, there's that echo again. So I'll go ahead and ask you to put that mic on. Zener, whatever mic you're using now, again, is much better. We had some trouble with that other one that you had. This one's doing much better. Okay, there was one word I lost, and it is this word. I did get it eventually from the context. It came through, it was the word convenient, and I noticed in the word development and this word very. All three of those, the biggest problem seems to be the V sound. So I'm going to just recommend that to work on that. And I know it's a very difficult one, because if you're not used to getting that in there because of your native language, I know it can be very difficult. I will say, though, because everything has improved so much, it's much easier to continue listening and following your train of thought and getting the idea from the content. There was something, yes, here it is. You talked about something, the teachers in the school, and it said something about not, did we lose somebody? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Not that much as before. Now, when you use the word much, you're usually talking about an amount of something, not, how do I say this? And you might look it up, because I know I'm having trouble explaining it. If you have not that much, how do I say that? Not that much soup, for instance, it means you want a small amount of something. Whereas here you're talking about individuals and how many individuals. Yes, exactly. That's exactly the point I wanted to make. Thank you. You're way ahead of me. So yeah, the difference there, many would be, and I'm just saying this for everyone since you've already got it, many would be applied to items, or in this case, people, not as many people. So one is an amount, the other is more quantity. I also like that you quantified what you were saying with figures. You talked about 1,000 students, and then you went down to 800 students. So that was nice supporting arguments there. Now I'm going to mention, and I will be looking. Thank you. I'm glad I'm glad you understood what I was trying to say. Thank you, Zinru. I will be looking, as I mentioned before, at more of the test information for what they have for the interviewers and the system to see what they're looking for. But I know that Yaya here gave me some good information, and so has Suresh, on some of these tests, and as I go through them I'll be able to get more. But one of the things that I noticed it said is to stick with just one or two supporting points, or excuse me, one or 2 points, maybe 2 or 3, but try to stick with only one point, one supporting point for that item. So that's just something to keep in mind. So you have your topic, you have a couple of points that you're going to make, and each one only has one supporting argument. And that way you'll get through the test, and it'll be in a clear and concise way. All right, so we have, oh, wait a minute. Kiki, I'm sorry. Kiki is next. So Kiki, you go right ahead.
Mhm. Um, I think more money should be used on basic needs because um, nowadays many people think the government nowadays the phenomenon that shows to us governments use many money on buying computer technology. First, we should analyze why this phenomenon happened. First of all, the government was should always focus on the countries or the cities economics profit and the and the economy development is the most important thing um as they regarded that and the profit is the most direct benefit for them. So um, when the technology level was improved, when the computer technology level is improved, they will get more benefits from it. But as citizens in in a country or in a city, um, basic needs is is the most important thing to the public. Because no matter young or old, rich and poor, they think the basic needs is related to their life closely. For example, the young people almost uh, the young people and their parents education, security, and the food security, of course. They will they will they will put their attention on whether their government will put enough money into this field to making sure their children have better educational facilities and and children's safety. is make sure, and old people and the elderly may focus on free medical service and the nursing room. Um, when people get old, some problems will happen on their bodies. So, free medical service is important to them because they don't have income after retirement, so uh, they're they need to go to the hospital very often. So if the medical services cannot so paying uh, paying high on this field, they will live under pressure. Um, and all the public focus on transportation. That means public transportation. Um, most of most of people are are um are worried about uh their being on the car. Maybe most of them don't have their private cars, so they only use
Kiki,
metro. Uh,
Kiki, Kiki.
yeah.
We're breaking up real bad. I'm not sure why. Let's. Okay, sounds like you did something. You want to give that a try?
Uh,
It might be the internet connection because it's just breaking up real bad. So we're just getting some syllables.
uh, so
Okay. Yeah. Tell
shall I
you what. How about?
repeat?
Yeah. No, actually, I'm still losing you. How about if I go ahead and stop you right here? And
Okay.
give you some feedback. You're doing great, but I'm not getting any more of it, and I'm sorry for that. I always enjoy listening to the entire thing that you have to say. Um, so I hate it when the system breaks down. Um, I'll go ahead. You talked about, you did introduce first. You want the more money to be put on the basic needs and what the government needs to focus on. And what you feel is the most important thing. We did have the word, I think it was profit, sounded like profit or something like that, profit. And then you said most, and that word came out, I think it's supposed to have been direct benefits. So you might work on the word direct. And then you talked about when technology improves and basic needs related to their life. And that was good because you are clearly restating here as you move along what your point is. You mentioned security, educational facilities, free medical service, medications, going to the hospital, transportation. And transportation, I think, is about the time we started breaking up real bad. I'm going to go ahead and mention on this. Now, again, when we're talking about some of these topics, Kiki, you've done a great job, and actually what yours, I think you could easily give an hour-long lecture, and sometimes that's needed. Sometimes you need to get into all those points because that's what you're doing. Most of you are trying to pass the English exams, and I know you won't have that kind of time. So once again, if you can come up with just a couple, 2 or 3 points, stick with one supporting argument. It's going to make it sound a lot more clear, concise, and you'll be able to fit it into the time that you're given at the exam. I know that some people, especially when they have a lot of thoughts to convey on these different ideas, they get bogged down in presenting the topics, and it actually hurts them in in the interviews and the exams because they go over time, and it makes them sound like they don't quite have it, the language together, when really you do. You just have a lot of points that you want to make. And so I know it's hard to think concisely like that, especially when you have a lot to say on the topic. So try to pick a couple of topics, 2 or 3 at most. Stick with one supporting topic. So pick the best one. And sometimes on a topic like this, I'm going to make a suggestion. You can still make a point for some of these others, like you had security, education, medical service, medication, hospital, transportation. You can mention them, but for instance, on the medical, leave that as one supporting argument right there. Or if you want them all in there, you can name them off, but do it in a way that includes them all in one main idea. So your actual idea would not be security, education. They wouldn't be separate like that. The idea would be the things that people need, and then you use those to just name those off to support the point. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But it was good. And again, if you were giving a longer lecture where you were really delving into this, of course you would elaborate more on the different points. But because you're preparing for the exam is why I say this. Okay? Wonderful. And like I said, you've got a lot of good thoughts. It's not that at all. I just wanted to pass that along. Like I said, the little bit that I managed to learn from one person, I try to pass along to the next, so that we're all benefiting. So I want to thank all of you that do work with me and share your insights, because that helps me to help others. And I want to mention too, because Zima here, and you all do it, you say thank you when you're done. And I really appreciate you listening to me talk like this, but I wanted to thank everyone for working with me, and I really have all of you to thank for me even being here. So I just wanted to pass that along as well. Okay, Yaya, I believe you were next.
Um, from my point of view, I think government should spend much more money on the basic needs of people. I have two backup reasons for this statement, and those are: without basic needs, uh, no nation cannot uplift their country. And the other one is, if there is a lack of if a government in cannot provide basic needs to mass people, it will create a chaos in that country.
Let me ask you what you just said. Create a what?
Create a chaos.
Okay.
So basic needs is food, education, medicine, shelter, or accommodation. So these are the main demands for a human being to lead a life. So a government should pay attention to those, because without this a man cannot survive. He needs to take food, as well as he needs clothes to uh, think, and to uh, create uh, to make an invention. So without food, or without clothes, or without shelter, no man can be functional. It's impossible to think. Let's say an example. Uh, uh, it's kind of a cynical viewpoint of a government if they only focus on the technology. And let's look at the North Korea, because they most of them they are spending most of the money on the technology, and and most of the people of their country are just starving. I mean, they are lacking of nutrition. They're suffering from many kind of diseases. So this kind of uh, mm, attitude is not acceptable. So number two, well, when people don't have basic needs like food, shelter, clothes, education, what will they do? They'll definitely involve in uh, criminal task or criminal job. They will do they will do heinous tasks to earn to have their basic needs, like education and food, and they create a mayhem in the society, and robberies, uh, mm, robbery as mm, or uh, murder, and this kind of criminal 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 job with criminal task will or criminal, what can I say, criminal task will be risen for the lack of basic needs. So it will eventually what it will result in, it will result in uh, terrific degradation for a nation, and it will not good for a nation to lack of foods and medicines and and other basic needs, because people will die. And if people die, what will do with your technology? It won't work. Technology needs human to be operated. So that's my point of view, and I strongly agree with that. Basic needs uh, basically uh, should be the first and foremost uh, first and foremost concern of a government. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
Um,
Okay.
I'm
Can Yeah. Go ahead.
um, I I cannot I couldn't find a word how to express criminal stuff. I mean,
Yeah. Actually, I was going to mention that. You mentioned like criminal task will be risen. Just say that crime. Just say that crimes will rise, or the crime rate will rise. Either way works. Nice and simple, and just use the noun form of that word instead of the um, describing word. Okay. So also I'm going to mention when you mentioned you strongly agree basic needs, and you were kind of stumbling. My thought was priority. They should be the priority. But because you have a strong opinion on this, and you've mentioned quite a number of things here, um, we talk about letting your words really emphasize what you're trying to say. So in this case, basic needs should be a priority, short and sweet, simple to the point, but because you have a strong opinion on it, saying it the way you did, I think had a greater impact, that it should be the first and foremost, thing that the government should be taking care of. So that was good. I enjoyed that. You could probably use, I think on these you had maybe 2 supporting arguments on each one. But again, I know how hard this is, especially if you feel strongly on something. These look like they're more interrelated, and they are. The only thing I'm going to say is you might want to just try to focus on what the main thing, kind of what, like when we work in paraphrasing, really getting down to the very basic idea that you're trying to convey, and go that direction with it. Anyway, this was good. I really noticed too that up until the end, you weren't stumbling like you normally do, trying to find words and things. You slowed down. You had a clear idea of what you were saying, and that's what you presented. So you're still improving. So I wanted to commend you on that as well. Okay. I'm trying to see. I don't think we had anyone who wanted to be next. So let's see. We have Vin, and we have.
Okay, my turn.
Absolutely, go right ahead, and I'll try to
Yeah.
remember your name. Okay, go ahead.
Uh, for me, I think that developing a computer technology brings more people more advantage. First, humankind nowadays more and more depends on computer, and we often do not expect the presence of a computer around us. For example, when we withdraw money from cash machines, get some gasoline on the gas station, and pay with our credit cards in the stores. So nowadays, computer technology plays an im- important role in our ep- everyday life. Second, computer technology brings more job opportunities. Mm, for a country, computer technology means power, knowledge, and uh, development. And in addition to practical benefits, the development of computer technology bring a lot of money to a country. On other hand, government should not forget about poor people who cannot afford computer but need food and shelters. However, I think that computers help people gain more knowledge and experience, mm, and find a job to provide food and home for his family. And so, um, basically, computers give people opportunity to reach their goals and be innovative. And when your government mm, um, mm, when government develop and buying computer technology, we can uh, I got I mean someone have problem in his life, and they need money to overcome serious problem, and computer connected internet, we can raise money to invite donator to help them support them money to overcome hard problem. And finally, I think that computer technology gives people many benefits, uh, including the opportunity to improve one knowledge and mm, uh, experience in this world. Yeah, that's my opinion. That's all.
Thank you. Okay. This was a nice opposing viewpoint that you gave, and I appreciate you taking this on. Um, you you talked about the computer technology brings people more advantage, and I'm going to mention kind of the theme that you had here. We have a saying for that. It's called killing two birds with one stone. In other words, if you take care of one problem, you actually solve both of them. And I think that was the point that you were making here, was that if you put the money into the computer technology, putting it into all of these developed things, you're going to be able to help take care of the other problem of providing basic needs, at least eventually along the line. Also, you mentioned computers bring many benefits, so that was good. That was the correct use of that term, many. And there was something that I didn't understand. You said it gives people the opportunity to, I think you were using the word list, and you said there, and I'm not sure what the other word was, maybe woes or something? I'm not really sure. Do you remember what it was you said?
Yeah, I mean, the computer technology bring more job opportunity. You can apply uh, when I mean when I student and I has graduated, and I will apply my job on the internet, and computer help me a lot of they make me a lot of information to get a job, and if I wanna go to abroad, I will uh, look look for information on the computer.
I see. So it broadens your horizons and your job opportunities. So once again, solving one issue is hopefully taking care of another issue. So that's good. Thank you. Um, yeah, I appreciate all the things that you had in here. Keep working on it. There was probably a few more points than you needed, but you're still doing fine. So keep it up, and you did very well. I also want to mention. Um, you guys are apologizing for taking a long time. Please don't apologize. There is nothing to apologize for. The points are good. The points are valid. They're quite interesting. I enjoy listening to them. I only make those comments to try to help, because I know that most of you, at least, are studying for exams, and I want to help you to be as clear and concise as possible so that you pass those exams. So yeah, there's no need to apologize. This is Suresh does time sessions. I don't, because I'm working on other things and I can only take care of so much. And right now we need to get to that point. And I'll let Suresh do that. And of course, you can always do time sessions on your own as well. But this is all good, and I see improvement all the time in all of you. And so I'm just trying to work with you where you're at. So thank you for that. And there's no need to apologize. Okay, hold on. I'm going to get this name. Humja, is that right? Close?
My turn, and
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, thank you. I think it depends on the situation of the country. Then the government should have the best decision. If the most of the basic needs meet the need then the government should spend as much as possible on developing or buying computer technology, because it can reduce the cost if the government support on it, because many people want to have the free Wi-Fi or the the software to you, but when they use it individually, it costs more than when the government support for all of the resident use. And but in the otherwise, if it's not like this, I mean the basic need is not um, meet the need for all of the people in the country, then the government should pay more attention in it. For in fact, that is what my country face with many serious problems such as education, medical, or transportation. It needs more fund support from the government. For example, in medical, there are many hospitals in the big city, but in the province or far areas from the center, there are less hospitals with the modern facility. Then many people come from the province come to the city to cure their illness, and uh, it make the situation more complicated when many people come to the city, and it make the transportation uh, more difficult. And uh, second, in the also the transportation in the city, because there are many students live there to study university, and many people come from the area, the near area to work in the city. So then the population is very um, serious, and the the problem is that the traffic jam is very awful, and it takes time. It takes too long to go from home to work, and I think the government should on the basic need. Yes, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Okay, this was good. Again, keep working on those consonant sounds. I'm going to ask you a question here. Give me just 1 second. I want you to answer this question. And let me print it here. Give me just a second to get it in the box. Okay, with the topic that we're discussing here, can you finish this sentence for me? I think that the government should spend more money on what? According to what you told me. Go ahead and take your mic off mute, hon, so I can hear you. Okay, that'll work. Thank you. The reason I mention this is because when you were talking at first and introducing your topic, it was a little bit hard to move along. It wasn't clear and to the point. So if you can word your introduction there, when you're answering the question and introducing your stand on it, try to bring it down into one sentence. Don't explain anything else until you've gotten your stand. This is my stand. This is what I think. Try to get it in one sentence. With the way these things are worded, usually that's very possible. There shouldn't be any reason you can't. So if you can get it down to one sentence, then you'll have a clear stand being presented as to where you're at on this. It's going to make everything fall into place a whole lot easier for you. You did talk about some different things. I know you stumbled a little bit where you said basic needs not being, and then you stumbled a little, said meet the needs. And I understand what you were saying. I'm going to finish that sentence for you. We would say the basic needs are not being met. Very simple. You had the right idea. You were just having trouble getting it into the sentence. So we would say basic needs are not being met. You talked about the support from the government and the city development. When you first made the topic of the transportation, you talked about the transportation from people coming into the city as well as what it's like inside the city. You can actually combine those two thoughts because the problem that it seemed to be that you were presenting applied in both places, so you don't have to separate them. You'll actually condense it down and present your idea a little more succinctly and in a briefer way, which is good for the test, as well as for just speaking and even public speaking. My question I was going to have, because you said it makes transportation more difficult, and the question it left was, how is it difficult? But then you turned around, and as you've continued talking, you mentioned the traffic jams. We would also use the word congested. The traffic is congested. Now, people traveling to the city, I'm not sure if that's really the case. I don't know your situation out there. If that word works, then use it, and if not, we might have to come up with another one. But definitely inside the city, I'm sure that's the word that you're looking for. Traffic jams are usually if there's an accident or something that's stopping up a particular part of the travel, and it's backing up the traffic. But it can also be from the roads not being big enough and just too much traffic on it. We have that problem in Southern California for sure. That's a definite issue, and you can be on there for hours trying to get home during rush time. Excuse me one moment. You also mentioned, excuse me, you also mentioned it takes longer to go home or to get to work when you're coming through the city. So again, you worked back at that topic, but you could probably condense them down into one instead of separating. Okay, outside the city there's this problem, and then reiterating the same problems that are inside the city. Just say inside and outside, same problem. So this was good, and I appreciate you working with me on that and sharing those thoughts. And I see that you were trying to narrow things down. So this has been a lot of fun for me, and I really enjoy listening to everything and learning about how things are and where you're at. So I want to thank everyone here that came today. And again, if you guys weren't here, I wouldn't be. And I really enjoy being here, and that's because of all of you. So thank you very much for joining me today. And I'm going to go ahead and stop this broadcast. And hopefully I'll be able to get on and talk to some of you as I've got some days off from my other things that I'm working. Hopefully I'll be able to talk more with everybody this week. But if not, hopefully at least I'll see you in sessions. And thank you, everyone, for joining. I'm sorry that our other person didn't get to join. Hopefully he'll get his mic fixed. And don't forget to connect with each other, share your Speak Alley profiles. Just use the link at the top, and then that way people can find you. And get on the Connect page, find people that are that look like somebody you want to talk to, that are sharing the same language difficulties or whatever, and send them a message and invite them over, and that way you'll be able to speak and get some practice. Zinru, thanks. He's got his up there right away. I think everybody here, well, maybe not one. Let me grab mine, I guess, and I will give you this. And again, these videos are on YouTube, and they're going to be going up on the blog within the next couple of days. We should have that. So there's my profile if you want to follow me and interact there. Again, thank you, and don't forget, if you're wanting to get into the essay sessions, just write a short essay on around 400 to 600 words, somewhere around there. That's a good length. Post it on the trending page, and the rest of us will try to give some input and feedback on it there, but also if you give permission for us to use it here and post it on the blog once we have it completely revised, then you'll be able to get into the sessions for reviewing essays. Otherwise, we do keep those private for various reasons. So that's really the only way to get the dialogue that goes on with that. And thank you to those of you who are donating. Zinru and Yahya, you both have, and thank you so much for that. I really enjoy being able to hear more about it, because when we go over it in the sessions, sometimes I need clarification and on your thoughts, and I get to hear even more, so that's just wonderful. So again, utilize all the different ways that you can learn here on Speak Alley. Thanks again. I'm going to go off mic, take a couple notes, and then I will see you all later. And hopefully we'll see you all again tomorrow. Don't forget to take a look at the times, because a session like this is after the essay session, about a half hour. I have to take a break, and it's whenever the session ends. But I have posted on there a general time, so you have an idea of when to start looking for the new session opening. And I'll make sure and shoot a post on the trending page so that you can see it as well. So once again, thank you, everybody, and we'll talk to you later.